We are back in the woods, and this week we are going to experiment with making our backgrounds lighter and darker. We're using the usual lights. That was lucky. You wouldn't believe how many bad takes there have been of that. I don't want to say that, do I?
No. And we did it.
We are using the usual lights, and we're going to do it by turning the intensity of the light up and down and changing our shutter speed just to kind of see what sort of balance we get. So yeah, let's crack on and see what we can find. Right, this is the shot. This beautiful chap here, lots of amazing wiggly stuff around the edges. I think that's the gills that's exposed, but yeah, lots of amazing stuff. So it'd be a good illustration of what we're trying to do. So let's set it up and see how it looks. Right, we are set up on this beautiful chap here. Nice cap with loads of amazing detail. I guess this is the edge of the gills exposed here. Nice big fat stem there. We've got a nice mid-toned background. You may notice that there is a light to the side here, and all that's doing is lighting the side of the camera here so that you can see a little bit of detail in the side of the shot. So as far as the subject is concerned, this is the daylight only exposure. This is 1/1.6 of a second, which is about what, 0.6 of a second, f5.6, ISO 64. We're underexposing slightly because the background is dark on the subject, and this is the daylight exposure, which will just give us the baseline for our next couple of shots. So we are going to focus on the gills there. I'm going to reach through and draw the focus towards me slightly because we are going to stack it, and then we're going to shoot 50 shots, step width of 1, and I'm going to shoot that now just to give us our initial exposure. So looking at our final shot, we're sort of focused towards the back. I'm not trying to get the entire thing in focus, I just want all of this front area. So if that looks good for our initial daylight exposure, here is the shot. Right, for our next shot, you can see from the overhead camera that we have two LED lights. I'm just going to turn those on. We've got one on the left, which is daylight, and one on the right, which is more or less tungsten coloured. And you can see by turning those on, the subject here has become slightly overexposed. So what I'm going to do is make the shutter speed faster to bring the exposure down to where I think it's going to look about right, which is, I reckon, is about there. 1/2.5 of a second, the maths escapes me. But we're going to shoot another shot of this. 1/2.5, f5.6, ISO 64. At this stage we're completely ignoring the meter because it's not really telling us anything interesting. But at this exposure, with the lights actually set to 5%, we've got a sort of slightly darker background than we had with the daylight exposure. So we're going to shoot another shot. Focus at the front there. Draw the focus towards me just a little bit. And I'm going to shoot stack. So again, looking at the final shot in the stack, we are past the bit we need. So if that looks good, here is the next shot, which shows a slightly darker background. Okay, for our next shot, we're going to turn the lights up to 20%. And we are going to make the shutter speed faster so we get pretty much the same exposure. I'm judging this by eye, just looking at the screen on the camera. I think that's probably about the right point. So we're focused back in the same place, but you can see the LEDs are contributing a lot more to the exposure, and the background is going fairly dark. If I just flick those lights off, you can see how the daylight's not doing a lot, and the LEDs are giving us pretty much all of the light. So we're going to shoot another one of that. Focus at the front there. Draw the focus very slightly towards me. I'm going to shoot another stack of 50. So looking at the final shot, again, this is going to make a good stack. Nice dark background, still a bit of detail there, but nice and dark. So yeah, if that looks good, here it is now. Okay, for the next shot, we are going to stick the lights up to maybe, let's go 50%. I'm going to adjust the shutter speed to give us more or less the right exposure on the sides of the mushroom. Should go about there. You can see the background is quite a lot darker. We're now up to a 20th of a second, f5.6. We're going to focus there. Draw the focus towards me a bit. Shoot another stack. So, there's the final shot in the stack. Again, this should all stack nicely, and if that looks good, here is the shot. So for our final shot, I'm going to go crazy, stick the lights up to 100%, adjust the shutter speed again to give us what I think is going to be pretty much the right exposure on the sides of the mushroom here. We don't want to clip these bits down here either, so maybe we'll just go 40th of a second. I think that's probably about right. We're going to focus there. You can see incidentally from the overhead camera that this now looks like it's being taken at night because the LEDs are completely overpowering what little daylight there is here. So we're going to shoot another one of this just to see how it looks. Draw the focus towards me a bit to make sure we don't miss any bits. We're going to shoot the last stack, so let's go. Okay, so looking at the final shot, this should stack nicely. The background now, I think, is completely black. So if that looks good, here's the shot. Right, that final shot is done. So hopefully that was interesting and or useful. Don't forget to like, subscribe and all that stuff, and I will see you next time. Cheers.